Hi guys, we're back again, right? It's after the 90 and time for us to catch up on all the matches that went down earlier today and the one that just finished. Let's not forget that the Super Bowl is coming up like in 5 hours from now. I don't know. I'm going to watch that Super Bowl. I really want to watch it. Not necessarily for the game, but for the halftime show. Americans will be watching me say this and they're like, "You're so stupid." Yeah, I am, but it's what I like. It's what I want to watch. Okay, so it's that time of the day again, as we agreed. I'm here for us to talk about other games that went down. So let's start pretty early. Burnley, Liverpool. Burnley at the Basement Club. Liverpool, I mean, supposedly title contenders, and they did all they could do. They when you say you did your best. And Fabinho's goal in the 40th minute was all they needed to win that game. But sometimes you feel like there's a little bit of strain on the Liverpool team, the way they play, the way their game come around. Feels like there's a little bit of strain. And talking about winning 1 goal to nothing, Newcastle also won their game 1 goal to nothing. I've always said that Newcastle are going to survive no matter what. And I remember that VAR cancelled Oli Watkins' uh, you know, goal. But guess who scored for Newcastle? Kieran Trippier in the 25th minute, and that was enough for them to go because I think they defended solidly well. They put up a good defense against Aston Villa. Aston Villa is not a pushover side; they're not an easy side that you just say, okay, Newcastle play. But then they also had injuries to worry about. But then Newcastle did just about enough. Tottenham Hotspur lost again. The last time they lost, the coach Antonio Conte came out and said that said something about mental instability, mental problem. They don't have the mental toughness to go. I don't know what he's going to be blaming this time around, but Wolverhampton Wanderers were value for money to go away after losing to Arsenal. Like I said the other day, they played very well against Arsenal, just not lucky to have scored or win the game. People were castigating Arsenal for celebrating the win, with 10 men playing with 10 men for the last 20 minutes of the game. When you watch the game against Spurs, you will now realize why Arsenal had every right and every reason to celebrate. The game that, as an Arsenal fan, the game that got to me a little bit was West Ham, who got the draw at Leicester. I thought that Leicester had done enough to win that game 2-1, but somehow West Ham came to equalize, remembering that they started this game with Jared Bowen scoring first, and then at the very dot of halftime, penalty from Yuri Tillemans gave them an equalizer. But then when Ricardo Pereira, the right fullback here, scored that goal to make it 2-1 in the 57 minutes, I thought that they had done everything to keep it going. But then Craig Dawson showed up in the 91st minute, okay, first minute of added time to equalize to make it 2-2. Yeah, you're not good for an Arsenal fan, but good for for West Ham because they're pushing their fight. But then at the end of the day, Arsenal's got a couple of games in hand, and that might just work in their favor. Championship game that went down today, the only game that went down, Swansea City made sure that Bristol City left in pains as it ended 3 goals to 1. But then in La Liga, that's the place where I really will focus on. In La Liga, it was beautiful drama. Remember that yesterday in the La Liga as well, it was draw. Most of the major games ended in draw. Okay, Cadiz played 0-0 with Celta Vigo. Villarreal played 0-0 with Real Madrid. Osasuna won against Real Vallecano 3 goals to nothing away from home. Atletico Madrid almost played a draw until the last minute. It ended 4-3. But today, we saw Deportivo La Coruña win their game 2-1 against Valencia. I was hoping that Valencia would get at least a draw in that game, but that didn't happen. Real Betis went away to beat Levante by 4 goals to 2. Real Sociedad beat Granada 2 goals to nothing. So once that pattern started today, I felt like, okay, yesterday was the day that had a lot of draws. Today, maybe all teams will win, and then I was hoping on Barcelona winning. But then Espanyol really did play well, especially that Raul the Thomas guy. they really did play well and put everything into the game. But I mean, it didn't turn out to be. Espanyol have a way of conceding late minute goals, and that late minute goal again, Frankie de Jong had really bashed at Traore, but I think that cross for the goal had a sense of urgency. He did, go to do his normal elephant leg over and had a good game. To had a good cross, sorry, a good cross. Not really like had a great game, but put in a good cross that turned out to be the last cross of the game that brought in the equalizer 2-2. I don't know if Barcelona will feel happy that they drew this game, but then it's a derby. Derbies really does not have anything to do with form. But in Milan, AC Milan will be very, very happy with their scoreline, their result, because it gave them a kind of an edge, winning and seeing that they are now on top of the log, even though they played one more game than Inter Milan. But I mean, they will take it because game in hand is not a guarantee that you win. And if they go on to win this league the way it is, they'll be very, very happy. It's AC Milan 25 goals, 25 games played, about 55 points. And then Inter Milan 24 games played, 54 points, and then you have Napoli with 25 games played on 53 points. So excuse me. So it's Milan, Inter, and Napoli with Juventus, who just drew with Atalanta away from home in fourth position, Atlanta in fifth position. It's a close battle in Italy, but then you have the game between Empoli and Cagliari that ended 1-1. The game between Genoa and Salamitana also ended 1-1. Verona trashed Udinese 4-0 at home, and Sassuolo and AS Roma. Jose Mourinho's AS Roma played at a 2-2 draw, while Juventus and Atalanta played at a 1-1 draw. In Germany, Borussia Dortmund were too good for Union Berlin as they scored 1, 2, 3 goals to make sure they clear out. Kevin Mahoud scored a goal that was allowed by VAR, but Rafael Guerrero, Marco Reus were the goal scorers for Borussia Dortmund, as Marco Reus scored 2 goals in the 18th and 25th minutes, and Guerrero scored in the 71st minute to make sure Borussia Dortmund are winners with a clean slate. It's not easy. Hoffenheim won against Armenia Bielefeld 2-0, and in France, Monaco are still not doing well. And then there's a comment on the comment section. Abedulawa, I say, great game between Barcelona and Espanyol. Yes, it was a good game, end-to-end stuff. And he said, would have loved to win, but glad we got a draw at the end. So I take it that you are a Barcelona fan. Huh? So I want to ask this question if you're still there. When you look at the Barcelona team of today, how does it make you feel? Because it's kind of like makes me cringe. Like when I look at Barcelona team, I kind of like, yeah, is this Barcelona? Okay, so this is the reason. For somebody who's followed Barcelona from the days where they had Pep Guardiola as their midfielder playing the base, Ronald Koeman, Risto Stoichkov, Luis Figo, Romario, Ronaldo da Lima, the late Sir Bobby Robson as their coach, Louis Van Gaal as their coach, Frank Rijkaard, who had Deco, who had, all of these good players, Ronaldinho, and then you have the era of David Villa, Samuel Eto'o, Messi, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Thierry Henry, Eric Abidal, Xavi Hernandez, Andres Iniesta, Sergio Busquets, when it was really Sergio Busquets, and all these sorts of players. Now you look at Barcelona team and you've seen Adama Traore, you've seen America Aubameyang. This is not me raining in on this parade, but look at the history of these names that I've mentioned, and then you call these guys, and then you look at Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres of Barcelona. How much did they even spend to buy him? And you look at this team and you ask yourself, can this team really take Barcelona to the place where they want to be? Or these guys are just sports filler. They're just going to be here to the end of the season, and then by the end of the season, Barcelona start working on how to ship them away and bring in new players. I really don't know, but we'll see. Demole Ibrahim Abiodun, you say, good evening, boss. Good evening. What do you think have the upper hand on the top 4 in England? First of all, I think Man City is going to win the league. It's a no-brainer to argue against that one. Man City win the league. Liverpool does look like a team that can grind results when they need, but I think that the Liverpool play the way they are playing against some of the big side, they just might lose. So that's going to be an advantage for Man City. I don't think to the end of the season, Man City can afford. Man City will not lose up to 4 games Okay, so or 3 games, and that have to happen, and then the rest of the chasing pack, especially Liverpool, have to win all their games. So let's take it that Man City have won the league title already. Liverpool will be in the top four. Chelsea is still 50-50. They might stumble and get knocked out of the top four, but I think that of the chasing pack of West Ham, Man U, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, I think Arsenal will make the top four. And the reason I'm saying that is not because I'm an Arsenal fan, no, but because Arsenal does have like the longest time to rest between games. So they are not going to be dealing with FA Cup matches, no Carabao Cup matches, no Champions League matches, no other competition, just the league. And somehow their fixtures have been spaced, but it's still going to come back to bite them because all of these matches that they've not played, the match against Spurs, the match against Chelsea that they were supposed to play yesterday, they they might come up in a place where they'll have to play 4 games in 1 week or 4 games in 12 days, and that might just kind of like knock them off. But looking at West Ham dropping point, looking at Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur not being able to get in on the grind and win matches at this time when they had the chance, I think that Arsenal will join Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea to make the top four. That's what I think, but it might still end up differently. And anybody who's listening right now would obviously say, if you are Arsenal fan, so we can understand why you're saying that. Well, if you say that, you might be right, but that's not the reason why I am saying what I am saying. I'm saying it because I think that Arsenal have like the best run of matches in terms of time for players to recover, players to win. There's no look at Man City, they are playing every 3 days, so they have to do serious rotation, even though they have a big squad. They have to rotate players. Look at when they play against Norwich and won 4-0 on Saturday. They didn't have Kevin De Bruyne in that squad. They didn't have Gundogan. They didn't have Gabriel Jesus. They didn't have Rodri, and they didn't have I think Ruben Diaz, and so they are rotating and they can rest player. But Arsenal does not really need to rotate. Come again to think again that Arsenal really have a very lean squad, so it will be an advantage for them anyway when they can space. I think the way it is going, Arsenal might just practically play 2 or only 3 games in a whole month. Okay, when other people are playing close to 6 or 8 games in a month, so it works well for them. But then we can say this year they still have to go on the field and pick up maximum points every time they play. Now that's going to be difficult. But for me, currently, the way things stand as of today, I think it's going to be Man City to win the league title, Liverpool to come second, Chelsea to come third, and then Arsenal to come fourth. Might not be easy, but that's the way I see it. And Demola said, as a coach, would you start Maguire ahead of Lindelof now? So I think that Maguire, apart from the attack, I think that his teammates don't trust him. That's one. If I'm a coach, I won't start him. If I'm a coach in the first place, I wouldn't even have Maguire in my team. I don't think that Maguire is worth all that. And then to add insult to injury, making him a captain was a no-no as far as I'm concerned. So for now, I won't start him. You might not get anybody to buy him off you, so it's no question of saying, oh, flog him out, get somebody else to buy him. So what I would do is I'll call him, like try to boost his confidence. I'll tell him that, look, listen, everybody out there is looking to blame you for anything that happens in this team. I'm going to put you on the bench not because I'm blaming you like other people, but I'm giving you a chance to rest and watch the game from the bench and observe. I'm even going to give you a break. I'm not going to put you as a reserve. I'm just going to give you a break for, let's say, for the next 2 or 3 weeks. You can go on holiday if you want to go. You can travel anywhere. You can go and rest, but stay away from football a little bit and let's see. Do your normal training, keep fit, and then come back again. But I think that sometimes, how they say scarcity is a collateral for value. Sometimes keeping a player away from the game. So Alex Ferguson did that a lot in his time. Keeping a player from the game, make them get into that mode of retrospective thinking and see the game better than they used to see it. Rather than coming in every 3 or every 4 days, coming to play game, and then once you make mistakes, social media is a gum, all the newspaper headlines about you, everybody is bashing you. People always say that footballers don't listen to those things. They do, and it gets to them. So to answer your question straight up, I will not play Maguire right now. I'll play Lindelof, but I'll set up the team. Another player that I will not play in that team is McTominay. I think I'll still pick Fred ahead of McTominay. McTominay is good, no doubt about it. But the team is in crush time right now where they need result. And I think that McTominay kind of like play like he's playing for the under 23. He's still very, very young. With all the Cristiano Ronaldo, elephant in the room personality that is making other people to play like they're tiptoeing around eggshells. I think I'll play Fred instead of McTominay, but I'll definitely not play Maguire. That's me, but I'm not the coach. It's Raf Ragniak that's the coach, or the one I call Ganatrol version 2.0. Adeola Salim, say good evening, sir. Good evening to you. Please, I need an update on Ademola Lookman to play for the Super Eagles playoff against Ghana. Well, the list for the playoff against Ghana have not been released, but I know that earlier today, Austin Eguavon flew to England. I mean, he would have arrived in England already, and I hope that he would have time to sit with Ademola Lookman and share his idea, his vision, his ideologies, and all that with Lookman if he's able to meet him, and then they will sit down and talk and maybe give him a reason why I will need you for this game or I don't need you for this game now. Maybe let's look forward. But I know that Ademola Lookman will be needed in the team right now, especially that right hand side, even though he likes to operate on the left hand side. But I think Ademola Lookman is needed, and I believe Iguava is going to have a conversation with him. He flew to England. I don't know who he's going to meet. He didn't tell me who he's going to meet, but by check, I did a little bit of fun check on the coach, and I know that he flew to England this morning. So let's see what comes out of that meeting. I'm also putting a very close eye on him, following him, monitoring his movement and all that, and I'll be able to tell as the day goes. The next time we'll have after the 90 minutes again will be on Tuesday night, where we'll be talking after the Champions League games. Maybe I should have a better update. Would he invite Ademola Lookman right now? I think it will be funny if he doesn't invite him, because we fought for him to change his nationality to Nigeria. He's playing in a position where we have need, and I think that some of the players that went to the Nations Cup would not be invited for the qualifiers against Ghana. It will be funny if he doesn't invite him. So I'm going to say here, even though the list have not been made, invitations have not been sent out, but I'm just going to say in my heart of heart that Ademola Lookman would be in the squad when the team arrive Abuja to prepare for the match against Ghana. First leg is going to be played at Cape Coast in Ghana. I would be there. I will be in Ghana. I'll be in Abuja with the team when they arrive. And from arriving in Nigeria, I would fly. Me and my crew will fly with the team to Ghana, play the game, and most likely come back that same day or the next day, depending on how things are, to come and prepare for the Nigerian end, and then we'll see how things go. So that's definitely is what I'll be part of. But I think by Tuesday I should get a clearer picture. Tuesday or Wednesday, because you remember for this invitation you need to send out the invitation, say like 3 weeks before the match. The match is actually the third week of March, but we need to start our preparation right now. We need to start talking to the clubs, the players, and all that. So I think that's why Iguavo is going to England. I probably might touch base with some other European countries and see how it goes. But by Tuesday night, when we'll do another after the 90 minutes, after the UEFA Champions League games, I'm sure I should be able to give you guys updates on Ademola Lookman. But for now, that's where the matter stands. Ademola Ibrahim Abiodun, you say people always said Ronaldo is more of a problem to this team. Do you agree, sir? Well, I was the first person that said it, so I agree completely. I was the first person that said it before they even signed him. Once the rumor broke that they were going to sign Cristiano Ronaldo, I said that Ronaldo would be a problem. Remember that this team started well. When you go back to the Manchester United result, let me even call out those results right now so that I can buttress my point. And I know that Cristiano Ronaldo, when he came in, he scored a lot of goals at the beginning. So it's hard for anybody to even agree with me. I remember a lot of people were insulting me at the time. But I think that from day one, it was one of the problems that the team had, because One, remember, Manchester United did not have need. I'm saying it again. They didn't have need for a striker. What they have need for was a central midfielder. But unfortunately, they went on to go get Cristiano Ronaldo, and we've seen how it's turned out to be. The thing is, and I'm going to explain this, but let me highlight some things with the result from. Let's go to. I think we have to go to August, where the season started, and I would most likely pinpoint what I'm trying to say from August. Where's the whole 2021 August? Okay, so the league started with what's the game now? League started with Manchester United playing against, was it Brentford? No, that's July. Okay, league started on August 7th, right? Manchester United beat Everton 4 goals to nothing. The next game they played against Leeds United was 5-1. Then they played against Southampton 1-1. Then they went to Wolves and won 1-0. Remember, this was when Cristiano Ronaldo was signed. This was the turning point. Then they played against Newcastle and won 4 goals to 1. Newcastle were struggling and suffering. Then they played against Young Boys and they won. They lost 2 goals to 1. And then they went to West Ham and beat West Ham 2-1. They lost in the Carabao Cup, in the FA Cup third round, they lost to West Ham 1-0. And then they lost to Aston Villa 1-0 in the Premier League. And then, that win over Villarreal. But let me explain what I meant by Cristiano Ronaldo was stifling the team at the beginning. One, it wasn't the player that they needed in the team. So even though you bring in Cristiano Ronaldo, that central midfield position was always going to be lagging. And then the way the team was before, a player like this guy now that is having issues, Mason Greenwood was really coming because he had a space to express himself. Players like Anthony Martial was beginning to come back into the team, and Cavani was playing as the leader to people like Rashford and the rest of them. And then that gap that was always open in the attack was giving Bruno Fernandes the opportunity to run into that channel like a hybrid version of Frank Lampard to score goals and also to create. It was also giving Pogba the opportunity. Remember the first 2 games, Pogba already made 6 assists. But once Cristiano Ronaldo came in, the system just changed to all balls to Cristiano Ronaldo. Every other person forget whatever play you want to play for goal. Forget whatever run you want to make, whatever move you want to make. So it's time for people like Mason Greenwood. It's time for people like Rashford, Anthony Martial, and the rest of them. And then the team was not narrowed. Instead of like the way Man City is, where goals can come from everybody. It was not like, okay, look for Cristiano Ronaldo. So Manchester United was playing for Cristiano Ronaldo instead of Cristiano Ronaldo playing for Manchester United. And that, because they were winning, people thought it was okay. But I knew, coming from a footballer's perspective, I knew that at some point this thing is going to turn back on them because the players will get fed up. Like, you can't play a game where all ball goes to Cristiano Ronaldo. That's one. Then secondly, if you go back into the history of Cristiano Ronaldo, and I said this yesterday too, if you go back into the history of Cristiano Ronaldo have never thrived as a lone striker. So Ronaldo have always done well when he's got another striker as a counterfoil around him. So look back at his Manchester United days. He said I had Tevez behind him, or Babatov, or with Rooney, but there's always somebody around him. He went to Madrid. There was the sacrificial lamb who was willing to take all the bullets and create spaces for Cristiano Ronaldo so that Cristiano Ronaldo would score, Karim Benzema. After Karim Benzema, he left Real Madrid after those many years, about 9 years or so, and then he went to Juventus. It was Paulo Dybala and the rest of the guys. If Paulo Dybala was not playing, Kulusevski was playing. All these guys were the counterfoil for Cristiano Ronaldo to score. So coming into Manchester United, if you look at the Manchester United attack, because of the way it is playing, 4-3-3 is not really a bad formation. Having 3 men up front is not a bad formation. But because of the way Cristiano Ronaldo likes to own the whole area, it's made whoever they play wide, whether it's Jadon Sancho, Rashford, or anybody, they just stay on the line. And if you're playing a 4-3-3, you're not supposed to be hugging the line. You're supposed to be coming in and going out. And the 3 of you are supposed to be exchanging position. But that doesn't work with Cristiano Ronaldo. He wants to own the center of the place. Whenever anybody holds the ball, he's running in the middle and expect that the pass will come to his head or his leg. But then that's not happen because the players also are looking at themselves like, okay, what's this guy doing that we can't do? that's where I think that Cristiano Ronaldo is stifling the team. Would he score goals? Obviously, he's Cristiano Ronaldo. Come on. Cristiano Ronaldo will score goals when he have the opportunity. But is he making Manchester United better? I thought that this was a season where this Manchester United team was going to come of age, where whatever Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had in mind was really going to come, because the team was beginning to look like his own team. But unfortunately, once Cristiano Ronaldo came in, it became a different story, and that was what held them back, so much so that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was fired. Once he's fired him and brought in Gennaro 2.0, it was difficult for them to make any progress. Well, he is not really a coach anyway. He's somebody who helps to negotiate deals of players, sign players, help to scout players, and all that. So I shudder to think when I see Manchester United give him such a long contract as an interim manager, where they could have gone for a full-time manager who is secured on the job. I mean, this man doesn't feel like he's secured on the job, and he doesn't even feel like, oh, he's got any blame. He's an interim. What's an interim supposed to do? That's what he's doing. But I think, to answer your question, Demo, I think that I agree with everybody that's saying it, but it's not necessarily me agreeing. It's me saying that I said it when people are not even seeing it, when people were not thinking about it. I already said that. Cristiano Ronaldo stifling Manchester United. But some Manchester United fans will not agree. But if you go back to the beginning of the season, look at the team, the way this team was playing, Manchester United really looked like the team who was on course to be the team that would compete with Manchester City. But once Cristiano Ronaldo came in, that competition dropped. It became a different team entirely. At some point, it looked like they were only focusing on winning in Europa and they're not focusing on winning in the league. But we'll see how it goes. UEFA Champions League, sorry, not Europa. And then Debola said, Maduka or Uzor, who should man the post in the game against Ghana? So if I am the coach of the Super Eagles, Austin Eguavoen, I would do Maduka Okoye a favor by not even inviting him at all. So I invite Noble Akpeyi and Francis Uzor, and it's going to be a battle between Francis Uzor and Daniel Akpeyi, and this is my reason. I was in Cameroon. I watched these players in training. I thought that Maduka Okoye had issues with his body language, even though he's the number one of the team. But Francis Uzor and Daniel Akpeyi seem to have like very good communication with the players, camaraderie and all that. So it's about who is mostly informed. But if the question, I'm to answer this question, Maduka Okoye and Uzor, I'll go straight to Uzor. I don't even want to invite Maduka Okoye to the camp because his energy right now is not good. He's a young man, and the attack that he's gotten, nobody should come and deceive me that it doesn't affect. It affects people psychologically, and the weight of the attack is too much. To come to Nigeria and come and face that heat again and relieve it would just cause problem. And you know that there are people in the team too who are his friends, and you know it might just be one journalist asking him one question and then he will react negatively, and then that will do snowball. The World Cup qualifiers is very, very important. It's big. Take for instance, whether we like it or not, if you get to the group stage of the World Cup, you get $8 million. I think it's going to go up even. $8 million what we got for just playing in the group stage and getting knocked out. We are too poor a country in our football right now for us to think that $8 million is small money. It's nothing. It's big money. And then if you get up to the round of 16, you get between 12 to $14 million, depending on the goals and your play, the way you play, your rating and all that. So that's enough money. I'm not, counting on us going to the World Cup to go and win it right now. I don't think that any African country will win the World Cup in my lifetime. But I'm saying that if we make a play for qualifying for the World Cup, let's, eliminate any element in the team that will cause us drawback, that will cause us setback. Players that I will not invite for the World Cup qualifier, Ejike Chudera, I don't think I would invite him, not because he's not a good, I like him, I call him the magician, but I think that his mind, after not being picked for the game against Tunisia, his mind is not in the right place. Another player that I might not invite is Samuel Chukwueze, because now we have Ademola Lookman. I might just tell him to rest. I think that injury he had in the semifinals of the Europa Cup is still working in his head. He needs to chill and relax and then come back when he's ready. The World Cup is still in November. The World Cup starts on the World Cup starts on the 21st of November and ends on the 22nd, 3 days to Christmas, 22nd of December. And, pretty much a very good one. This is, in my lifetime, this is the first time I'm going to say World Cup in December, that will end up 4 days to my birthday. And it'll be interesting, because I know I'm going to go to Qatar by the grace of God. God gives us life and good health. I'll be in Qatar. So I'm looking at it. Am I going to be in Qatar for the whole duration of the World Cup, or I'm going to come back after uh, Nigeria is eliminated? I'm hoping that I'm going to stay for the whole duration of the World Cup. Okay, so it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be one story that I would like to talk about for my children, and so many things as we go. We'll be having, live conversation like this on the live stream. I will be talking about a lot of things about Qatar. But before then, don't forget I'll be giving you all the update from the Super Eagles camp every day when when the Super Eagles go to camp. So put your mind in that one too. I'll be giving you short report, giving you updates and different things as we go. But having said that, I think coming back to your question, I will not even need Maduka Okoye in camp. I will not invite him at all for the two-leg game. It doesn't mean that he's out of the national team, but it just means that I want him to get past this, probably get past the whole drama of these qualifiers, and then after that, maybe for friendly matches and any other thing, I can invite him again for him to show his reflexes. At the end of the season, he's going to go back and resume with Watford. Let's hope that Watford doesn't get relegated. Well, it looks like they'll be relegated. And then Nigerians are able to see him perform week in, week out. If he performs very well, then or probably he goes to the championship. If he performs very well, then Nigerians can begin to say again, bring him back to the national team. That'll be a different conversation. But definitely, 100%, I will not invite him. I'll bring in Uzoro, and I think Uzoro will do well against Ghana. But Ghana is not going to be an easy opposition to play against. Bellew Gilmore. Okay, I don't know what you guys are putting there. Adiola Saleh, say, please, sir, the signing of Lukaku and Ronaldo, which is the worst signing? Okay, the word is not worse. I think that Ronaldo is not a bad player. It's going to be ridiculous of me or anybody to criticize Ronaldo. Listen, Ronaldo have given to us in one lifetime what you would expect in like 10 different lifetimes. So it would be stupid of me to criticize Cristiano Ronaldo, to be dumb and idiotic and moronic of me to come out on my live stream because I think I have a platform and because I think I can open my mouth to talk and criticize Cristiano Ronaldo. It is rude, it's disrespectful to criticize Cristiano Ronaldo. But I think that the problem was that Cristiano Ronaldo was not a signing that was needed. So on that front, it's a bad signing, not necessarily the word worse, because that worst put it, too far, puts extreme to it. I've got mad respect for Cristiano Ronaldo, his body of work, his legacy, his achievement. To not put worse signing along on the same sentence with Cristiano Ronaldo will be sick of me. Another player that was also not needed but was signed is Lukaku. And I remember at the beginning of the season, I said it. That Lukaku is not needed, but if you look at the fact that Lukaku has helped Chelsea to win the World Club Championship, like it or not, he won the semi-finals against Al Hilal. Okay, scored that goal and they won it, and got into the finals. He scored before the penalty that was scored by Kai Havertz. Either ways, they say that your big players don't score all the time, but they score when it matters most. So you give him credit for that. But overall, if you want to put the whole season together so far, the season has not ended. He can go into a run of form now and begin to score goals. I think that he's been a flop. 98 million or so, it's been a flop. But worse, it's not like, okay, comparing Cristiano Ronaldo and Lukaku. I don't think I even have the moral ground or power to even make that comparison in the first place. But if you want to say which one is a better signing so far with the two, it's just a case of two players that are not needed. It's like Nigeria election. We always get the best of two evils. Okay, these are two players that are not needed in the clubs that they signed for, and it's not make it almost impossible for whatever thing they do to be right because they didn't fit into this. For Lukaku, he didn't fit into the system. It would have been better off playing back at Inter or probably Spurs signing him to play under Conte, and then Conte gets his wing back man to help run and then drag the opposition players wide so that there'll be space for Lukaku. So I don't think that Lukaku has turned out to be a good buy. I wasn't expecting him to be a good buy anyway. Cristiano Ronaldo was not in need because of the way the Manchester United team is built and the fact that they don't have a counterfoil attacker to play around Cristiano Ronaldo to make him excel, pick up on the crumbs, pick up on the leftover, and do what Cristiano Ronaldo know how to do. So he's working. It's not a back to the goal kind of striker, but now it's not playing in the system where he has to be back to the goal. He has to do everything, and it's been difficult. Where do we start? Demola said, "Will Borja be a good signing for Arsenal?" Who's Borja? I'm hearing the rumors about him to Arsenal. I don't know him, so it's going to be hard for me to say. I don't know if it's Borja Kekek you're talking about. That one doesn't play football anymore. Borja, who's Borja? I don't know who Borja is, but I think I would spend some time to check who that player is. But I think that what Arsenal needs two strikers, one attacking midfielder, one defensive midfielder, and one right fullback as backup for Tomiyasu. I think that will be fine. That's about 5 players. Arsenal need to spend between 250 to 300 million to put themselves in position. But first, that would only happen if they qualify for the Champions League. I think I like what the board and Arteta have done, or probably the board have used Arteta to do, is first off, they've cut down their wage bill. They've eliminated Ozil previously, and then Aubameyang. They've cut down the wage bill, and they're planning not to renew Lacazette and a few other players. Yes, who's because when you renew, you have to either pay additional 50% on top of what they are currently earning, or probably double them depending on their age and what you negotiate. But it is hard for you to say, oh, I'm paying you 100, now I want to pay you 50 to renew. So you're going to up their pay for them to sign. I think that they should let Lacazette go. They should also, if it's possible in the summer, let Xhaka go to Roma. AS Roma are looking to sign him. Let him go to Roma, and then you bring in the players that you can bring in and then get them to grow into the league. But let's Arsenal do everything to qualify for the UEFA Champions League first. If they make the top 4, go to play make the UEFA Champions League group stage, sign whatever player they need to sign so that they can retain that run consistently. It will be good for them. The thing about the Premier League now is that there are 5 major teams, 5 big teams. If Arsenal come back again to be among the top 4, there'll be 5 major teams. 5 teams are Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United. So every season, one of these 5 will drop. So if Arsenal makes the top 4, it will be very, very expedient for them to fortify the team properly, get good position, get an additional goalkeeper. Yes, there's a guy coming from the US. I trust American goalkeepers because one of the reasons why I trust American goalkeepers, an American kid grows up learning how to catch because of the baseball, the NFL, everything about them is catching. So the few ones that become goalkeepers, from Brad Friedel to Tony Moella to Casey Keller, Howard at some point in his career, have always been good goalkeepers. So I think that having an American goalkeeper, well, it's because Arsenal have American owner. That will be good for them. But then they need to guarantee qualification for the Champions League first, and then they cannot go out and spend. I also believe that having spent 5.5 billion in building the LA Rams Stadium, or the Sophie Stadium as it is called, which is hosting the Super Bowl tonight or probably early tomorrow morning, because Super Bowl will start by 4 a.m. I pray I wake up to watch that one. I think that Kroenke might decide, you know what, I've abandoned this club and I've left it for my son, who is the director, for a while. Let me pump in a little bit of money to see, especially with the Rams doing well. The LA Rams, they are doing well in the NFL. His other franchises are doing well in the US. The only one of his franchises that's not doing well is Arsenal. So he would want to spend small money and see maybe between 200 or 250 million and see what it brings in terms of securing their position in Champions League consistently, and then they spend again. So they spend, say, 200 million in the summer or 250 million in the summer, spend another 100 million in January. They would have started a process that would keep them up there competing among the best. But I just hope that they get it right anyway. Matthew Akambi saying, bros, I think Eagles should go back to traditional formation 4-4-2 with good wingers. So that's what they played at the Nations Cup. Okay, so formation is mostly dependent on coaches, the philosophies, the ideologies, what a coach thinks, and then the players is got. If your wingers are not good, 4-4-2 can damage you, because it's not just enough for your wingers to be good dribblers like we saw with Moses Simon. they should also be excellent crossers of the ball and good passers of the ball. They should also know how to cross the ball, not until they get to the byline, right? So if you don't have those things working for you, playing a 4-4-2 can be disastrous to you because they are easy to block. You just use your fullbacks and your midfielder, your base midfielder, to shunt them out, so they can't really come in and get the space. So that's also a problem. But if you want to play that, play it with quality players who can morph, you can be flexible to move from a flat out 4-4-2 to a diamond 4-4-2, and then improvise as they go. It will help you. But we couldn't do that against Tunisia. That's why we were beaten and we got knocked out of the Nations Cup. Kamaluddin Mustafa, I say, good evening, bros. Good evening to you. What do you think about Serie A? Looking at how AC Milan overtook Inter at the summit of the table, do you see Milan winning the league this season? And if no, who do you see? So it's a close one. The weakest link of the three that are competing for the title is Napoli. It's an open battle between AC Milan and Inter Milan. Last season, the reason why AC Milan didn't win the title was because of the injuries to Zlatan and some other players towards the end of the season. So if AC Milan are able to avoid injury currently and run up the season to the end, they look like a team that will win it. But it is Inter's title to lose because they've got a game in hand and it looks like a game that they can win. So I like the fact that the season is going to the wire. Inter Milan played AC Milan a few days ago and lost to AC Milan. They came to play against Napoli. If they had lost that game against Napoli, I would have said, okay, they are now out of the title race, sort of. But they got a draw. The draw might not be too much, but it's just an advantage for them, especially with them having a game in hand. And then for Napoli, Napoli needs to, if Napoli wants to win the league title, they need to win every single game from now to the end of the season. Can they achieve that? Their squad is very narrow. That's the disadvantage with Napoli. Luciano Spalletti is doing a great job with Napoli, but the squad is very, very narrow. Osimhen goes out injured. There is really no other out-and-out striker. If Lorenzo Insigne goes out injured, there is no direct replacement that can bring in the same quality, the same force, the same bite, the same movement, the same traction like he does. And then the other backup, there's Dres Mertens, there is Lozano from fullback. But remember when Lozano got injured too, they struggled to get his replacement. So those little things might work against Napoli. For now, it's between AC Milan and Inter Milan. I would love to see Napoli win it anyway. It's been over 30 years since they last won the title. But then I will be excited if AC Milan wins it, because in Italy, AC Milan is one team that I support. So I'll be excited if they win it. But they've really done well in terms of how they've managed their players, not gone out to spend big, to put big money. But some are managed to get in. Some players who are out of contract, some players who are struggling in the previous club that they play in, and they managed to bring them in, and then those guys have now also come in to add value to the team. Olivier Giroud will be over the moon if he goes on to win. The Italian Serie A, but I think it's between Inter and AC Milan. Napoli is the weakest link of the three of them because of how narrow their squad is. That's not to say AC Milan does not have a narrow squad. They do have a narrow squad too, but it is narrower with Napoli. Let's just hope that all their players stay fit and nobody gets injured. Okay. Demola Ibrahim Abiodun says Southampton. Oh, nah, I don't think. I think that if Arsenal is going to sign a player, it's from the Premier League. It's either going to be Yuri Tillemans, whose transfer fee has reduced, and probably Madison, because it seems like Leicester is disintegrating now. And then there's Cavallini, but they have to really check on his injury situation. But I don't think that Arsenal is going to sign a player from Southampton. Southampton have produced some great players, for a team like Liverpool, for instance, Sadio Mane, Virgil van Dijk. But then when Arsenal went to buy from Southampton, they've all not turned our to Walcott, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. They've all not turned our. I don't think Arsenal is going to go there to buy him. Arsenal need a player who can at least score a goal every 2 games. That's what Arsenal need right now, if not a goal every game. Arsenal does not need players that they would need to, put into the academy and teach how to play football before they let them grow. So I don't think Arsenal is going to go for him, but let's see how it goes. Debola say Arteta, Lampard, or Gerrard, who is the better tactical coach? I think I'll go with Arteta. I'll go with Arteta. Arteta practically took over a team, an Arsenal team that is really in a mess, in a crisis, dying, struggling. No financial assurance. Also does not have structure behind him like a board, a football director. So he came in just about the same time that Edu came in. So they are both working on the team, trying to fix the team. If you look at Gerrard came into Aston Villa. There is backup. Anything he wants, they give to him. Everton, when Frank Lampard came in, within a few days, he had signed in this one, signed in that one, brought in this one, brought in that one. That didn't happen with Arteta. So for Arteta, like it or not, he's won the FA Cup, right? And he's ended the last two seasons in eighth position, but he won the FA Cup. So that's credit for him. And you're going to draw a parallel from Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard was at Chelsea as well. Steven Gerrard won the Scottish League unbeaten. That should count for something for him. And how he's also brought in verve into this Aston Villa team and brought in some energy, brought in, some champion stuff. But that's exactly what Arteta brought into Arsenal in his first season when he came in December and then ran off to go and win the FA Cup in May. But then the following season was not too good because players were all out, a lot of players were all out injured, and then he was discovering that some of the players that they have in the team were not good enough. People like Guendouzi and the rest of them, he had to change his team. Team now is trying to get stability, but while doing that, he's also been given a mandate by the board to reduce the expenditures. Okay, that's why you notice. If you notice the systemic exit at Arsenal, first off, some waste pipe are being let go, but beyond that, heavy earners are also being let go. People earning £350,000 a week, people earning £250,000 a week are being let go. So that when you're signing new players, if Arsenal signing any new player right now, they're not going to give him a contract that is up to 200,000. So Arsenal would have saved a lot of money. For instance, letting Aubameyang go, Arsenal saved 27 million pounds in what was meant to be salaries for Aubameyang if he didn't leave. So if you do the same thing with Lacazette and let Granit Xhaka go, they're going to go get in players that can come. Don't forget that on loan, we still have Saliba who is on loan, and Marcel. He might come in to join this very rock solid defense. Arsenal still need one additional goalkeeper, even though an American goalkeeper is coming. I don't know how good he is. Arsenal still need to get two strikers. If Lacazette goes at the end of the season, it means that you have to replace Aubameyang, you have to replace Lacazette. They also need a midfielder in attacking midfield position because you have only Odegaard there and an understudy in Emily Rose Smith, who happens to be Arsenal's top goal scorer this season with 9 goals so far in all competition. But then you need that one to work. And I think that by next season, people like Gabriel Martinelli would have had more experience, and a few other players would have also had more experience. For Larry Balogun is doing pretty well at Middlesbrough, good one, but I don't think that he's the kind of player that wants to come back and would want to lead the Arsenal attack. I mean, the first 3 games of the season that he played in, you can tell that it's not ready yet. But playing in the championship and doing well tells me that there's something that Arteta is doing with his training that's making these players get better. Almost all the players that they send out on loan are pretty much holding their own, so it's a good one. But let's see how it goes. I would, for me, any day, anytime, I'll pick Arteta ahead of Lampard and Gerrard. And this is not just because I'm an Arsenal coach, but I think that first off, English coaches don't do too well. Okay, Gerrard and Arteta and Lampard, we can say all we want to say. They are coaching Everton and Aston Villa. Those two teams will not win the league. Those two teams does not have the pressure of making it to the top 4. If they don't make the top 4, it's not a problem. Their job is make sure you don't get relegated. If Aston Villa finish in the top half, the top 10, it is success. If Everton finish in the top half, maybe it's 7 or 8, the same position that Arteta will get to, people will say is a failure. That's considered a success. But Arteta, his biggest requirement, his minimum requirement is qualify for Europe, either Europa or the Champions League. If you qualify for Europa, we're not so excited, but we'll not be angry. But if you qualify for the Champions League, top notch, even if it is 4th position, 3rd or whatever, top notch. And then if you go on to win a title, that's like the icing on the cake. But for Lampard and Gerrard, for instance, that expectation is not there. And can they perform miracle to make it happen? I don't think it's going to happen. I'll pick Arteta any day ahead of the 2 of them until they convince me with the performance in the English Premier League. Matthew Akambi said, Brosme, do you think Arsenal can qualify for the top 4 this season? Yes, I think so. I think that they have the best chance of qualifying. They've played against some of the biggest teams in the league, home and away, and a few other ones are remaining that they will play. And then the fact that they're not playing any other cup competition like the UEFA Europa Cup, the English FA Cup, or even the Carabao Cup, means that their players are always well rested before they play their next game. Now, it does two things for your team. It gives you time to recover if your players are prone to injury, but then it also kills your momentum because some other teams will play and keep winning, and then it boosts their morale. But your team is just not playing regularly. You're waiting maybe 1 week, 10 days, 7 days, 15 days before you play the next game. That might just drop your team because when you're training in the course of the season, just training without playing competitive match, sometimes it affects the way you perform. But I think that Arsenal have a very big edge, especially now that teams like Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United are really not picking up points when they need to pick points. It's easy game. Even at home, they are losing. Some are losing, some are drawing. And the fact that West Ham, who is in front of them, directly in front of them, and Manchester United also drop points today. They have 2 games in hand already on Arsenal. So if Arsenal plays those 2 games, I'm not saying they're going to win. I've always said that I don't have confidence in game in hand. Arsenal also are struggling to get their act together. But if Arsenal play those 2 games, yesterday they were supposed to play against Chelsea, but Chelsea is in World Club Championship. When they play them again, I don't know. It might be next month. So they now have to play, I think, against Burnley and maybe Leeds United, or I don't know who they're playing. If you look at those games, those are winnable games. If Arsenal wins those 2 games, for instance, they go straight to fourth, and then from there, their destiny is in their own hand. They keep going. They might even take a match. They might still a match on Chelsea, but this is me being over ambitious and being exaggerating because I'm a fan of Arsenal. But Arsenal does look like a team that would make the top 4 ahead of Liverpool. Ahead of Man United, West Ham, and Tottenham Hotspur. John, I don't know what you're saying. The last Salim, he say, I think Nigeria should invite David Okereke of Venezia for World Cup playoff and Osimhen because I believe in them. Okereke is a good player, yeah, but it's not just him being good where he plays. It's about would he be able to have a proper team chemistry with the Super Eagles players? That's another thing that we should think about. I think there are some players that also should be invited. People like them, Kevin Bassi from the Rangers. But then again, you look at the Super Eagles, left fullback and right fullback was fantastic at the World Cup. Yes, at the Nations Cup. Yes, I know that Ola Aina made a mistake that led to the goal against Tunisia, but you can pardon him. These are very, very fantastic players. What we need is the coach to be able to invite players that he would play, he would have confidence to play. We don't want players that you have on the bench, and when the game begins to go wrong, you start saying, oh, this guy has not played for the team before, I didn't want to risk him and all that. You want to have players on the bench that can come in and make impact. Yeah, that's what I mean. I hope that Okereke's time will come, and when he's invited, he would want to honor Nigeria, because sometimes when these guys don't get on the major tournament or major games, they just want to avoid it. I pray that our players don't do that because it will affect them as much as it will affect Nigeria. Well, let's see. We've got about 7 minutes to the end of the show today. Demola Ibrahim Abiadu say, what do you think is the problem with Spurs? The sports problem is hard. This afternoon, I was actually like looking for materials, trying to see what's really wrong with the team. And I'm struggling, okay? They've got players that on their day can damage another team. But I think that the lack of competition, and this happened with Arsenal some time ago, the lack of competition where everybody feels like, I will play. Okay, I'll play no matter what. At Liverpool, even though your club plays a certain group of players, but they know the people that are playing knows that there's somebody in the bench that can take my place. So it makes them give extra hard. And then they fine-tune them into a winning machine that every time they want to win. But for Spurs, once they got to that Champions League finals and they didn't win it, it has taken something away from them. They become the nearly team. They become a team that is heartbreaking. What I think Spurs can do, it's hard, especially having built a new stadium. What I think Spurs can do is for Daniel Levy to take the bold step and now begin the rebuilding process. Because Harry Kane, Son Heung-min, Dele Alli, thank God he's been loaned out now, and a few other players that are there are beginning to get rubbed into this virus of forget, no matter what we play, we will not win. And you might not see it. It is not openly spoken, but it is in the mannerism, in the attitude, in the behavior, in what they do. That might just be affecting other group of players. So I think that he should take the bold step, collect whatever offer that they make for Harry Kane and sell Harry Kane. And then at the same time, yes, it's sad to say this, but let Son Heung-min go. Let a new generation of players come together and play for Spurs. They are in a new stadium. Let there be the new era. Let the war for shared begins, and let the new era begins with a new ideology, mentality, and the rest. Yes, they brought in Bentancur, one other player during the January transfer window, but I don't think that's enough. They should also let the role models of the team, the godfathers of the team, let them go and then start a new team so that new players knows that, oh, we're battling for the people like Lucas Moura, let him go. People like Harry Kane, let him go. If Son Heung-min wants to stay because he's really committed to the cause, let him stay. But if he doesn't want to stay, also let him go. Let all those players, group of players go. Those ones that have battled all the way to the final of the Champions League, and let the new generation of players decide what they want to do with sports. I think that would add one plus or something to the team. Demola said, you're doing a good job, boss. I love listening to your analysis. This is Ibrahim that always call from Ikorodu. Ibrahim from Ikorodu. That young man, how are you? It's been a while. It's been ages. Yeah, thank you very much for that. I mean, you pretty much ask a whole lot of questions. You type better than you talk. It's a compliment. It's not disrespect. Pretty much nice, but it's been a while anyway. When did I leave Brilla again? 2017. Up to now, that's almost 5 years. By August, it's going to be 5 years since I left Brilla, so it's been a while. But thanks for joining me today. We'll have this again on Tuesday night after the Champions League games, and then on Wednesday night, and then on Thursday night. But join me on the radio. If you don't have the mobile application, please do where to download it on your Android phone. Just search for Elegbete TV Radio, download it and install. And if you've not subscribed to Elegbete TV Sports, our YouTube channel that we're doing this live on, please do where to subscribe and click on the notification button. Watch our other content that we'll put out there and help us to drop comments and help us to grow. God bless you guys. Thank you very much for spending the last 1 hour, 56 minutes anyway, or 57 minutes anyway, but it's going to be an hour. Thank you for all your many questions. We do this regularly as on match days. When there's no match, we don't have it, but it's called after the final whistle. So after the final whistle, we'll come here to talk about different things and all that. Okay, final comment on the drop is the Super Eagles. Oh, where have you been? My Delta brother. Oh, Ibrahim, you say, thanks, boss. I will be listening more now. Thank you very much. God bless everyone who's joined me on after the final whistle today. I gotta go sleep. I need to wake up by 4 a.m. if I can to watch the Super Bowl. I also need to prepare my kids for school tomorrow morning before I go to the studio. So it's time. Once again, my name is Edafi Matthew Esiogene. You love to come in the Elegbete Mono Sports. It's been a very good time spending the last hour with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please help us so that we grow. Yes, I made a bet with someone. Somebody said to me, and I'm going to say this to you guys. Somebody said to me that you can't do sports on YouTube in Nigeria and get up to 100,000 subscribers. I know that we're not there yet. We're just 6,222, 221. But I know that it is possible. I need to prove that person wrong and prove that what I said is true. So time will tell. Matthew Akambi say thank you for your update, Ross. God bless you. Thank you for watching from the beginning to this time. I gotta go now. It's time to lay my head on my bed, put my alarm on, and wake up by 3:55 for the Super Bowl. God bless you guys. Bye.